Huo Woman Zhu Daxing is Akinori people. His family was rich but very stingy, not met the children of married thing, no guests at home, there is no meat on the table, but is less frivolous man, for a woman, how much money the expense. Every night, he had the village head over the wall, and some of the sluts sleep. One night, he met a lone young woman, know that this young woman was to escape out, then forced her to go with their own, led back home together, according to a household lighting, which is very beautiful young woman. The young woman said to myself surnamed Huo, Zhu Daxing and careful questioning, Huo Woman unhappy to say, now that took me in, why should it have repeatedly questioning of the fear of endangering you, let me get children to leave. Zhu Daxing afraid to ask, leave her and they lived together. Huo women do not want to eat bread and water, and dislike meat, eating must be a bird's nest, or a cone snail, fish must soup made in order to eat. Zhu Taixing no alternative but to strive to supply. Huo woman and love sick, must drink daily bowl of ginseng. Zhu Daxing initially refused to give. Huo woman kept moaning, seeing dying, a last resort, to her drink ginseng, like sick immediately. After drinking ginseng has become common practice, Huo women have to dress satin Fairview, a few days to wear clothes too old to get a new one. This went on for more than a month, spent a lot of money. Zhu Daxing gradually difficult to supply. Huo woman crying do not eat, asked to leave. Zhu Daxing afraid, and trying for her to eat with. Huo female whenever depressed, let Zhu Daxing every 10 days attracted actors acting. When acting, Zhu Daxing put a stool at the outside of the screen, holding his son satin watched. Huo little girl did not smile, repeatedly abused Zhu Taixing. Zhu Taixing not differentiate. This went on for 2 years. Zhu Daxing home gradually decline. He politely explained to the woman Huo, a little request to reduce spending. Huo women allowed, with costs reduced by half. A long time, still cannot afford to eat a little meat grew female Huo also the line, and gradually ate no delicacy. Zhu Daxing heart secretly happy. Suddenly one night, Huo woman opened the back door and fled. Zhu Daxing saw it, look around, to know what she went to the next village house. Huo is the most common surname, official generations, hospitable nature bold, often through the night feast fun. One day, all of a sudden there was a beauty, middle of the night to the bedroom where home. I asked, the original Zhu escape concubine, the man of Zhu Taixing, Huo has always been looked down upon, but also took a fancy to this beautiful, put Huo woman left. They affectionate for a few days, Huo Ho more obsessed with women, do everything in the home so that women enjoy Huo, Zhu and supply the same. After Zhu Daxing got the news, the whereabouts of dignitaries Ho simply ignore. Zhu Daxing complained to the official, Huo woman because official name of unknown origin, but also set aside do not ask. Zhu Daxing sold possessions bribery, the defendant will be allowed to issue a warrant in the lobby confrontation. Huo woman told Ho I Chu, Sung had not, there is nothing to be afraid of. Ho overjoyed, ready to win this lawsuit. Against Hogu health advice says, you storing the people escape, has made the law of the land, not to mention the door after this woman, excessive consumption every day, even if there is an enormously wealthy man, can do long-term support. Ho wake up, not a lawsuit. The women return the Huo Zhu. After 12 days, Huo woman and fled. One Wang was a poor scholar, no wife. Huo woman knocked on the door into his house, and explains where to come. Wang suddenly see a beauty to go over him, scared and afraid, I do not know what to do. Wang has always been law-abiding, and thus refused to shelter. Huo women do not go. When Wang speak, is very charming and moving. Vivid yellow heart, to keep her, but am afraid she cannot be content with living in poverty. Huo women get up early every day, personally housework, but also hard-working than Huang's ex-wife. Wang man romantic chic, you will love his wife, and thus the two met earlier. Am afraid they leaked the wind, joyous love cannot last long, and Zhu Daxing since complain, his family was poorer, but also consider Huo woman cannot be content with a life of poverty, no longer sought. Wang Huo female and over several years, two feelings are very deep intimacy. One day, Huo woman suddenly proposed to return to her family, so she drove Wang. Wang said you always say no home, why around to say not the same are? Huo woman said, used to be just saying that Im Zhengjiang, formerly married a prodigal son, living to the dead, he went to here I am her family very rich, you spend a fortune to send me to do, must not ill-treat you. Wang listened to her, and she hired car back together, Yangzhou to the boundary, the boat stopped in the river, Huo window overlooking the female is, there is a rich merchant's son came by to marvel Huo woman beautiful, boat and drawback, Huo woman with tailboat, while Wang knew nothing about. Huo woman suddenly said Wang your family is too poor, and now I have a treatment approach, I wonder if you could listen to? Wang asked what measures, Huo woman said I follow you for many years, cannot you born children rearing, which is not the result of one thing although I am ugly, but fortunately not too old, if someone offered a 1200 silver, you put me to sell, so, wife, will have on their land this highway? Wang heard shocked, I do not know why she uttered these words. Huo woman smiled and said do not worry, the world is more than a beautiful woman, a daughter who is willing to buy me I am just telling jokes outside to see if there is nobody to buy my freedom you serve you call the shots. Wang refused to do so. Huo woman put these words to the boatman's wife listening, looked at the boatman wife Wang casually agreed. Boatman wife out for a while, came back and said oh son of a merchant boat, willing to pay 820. Wang deliberately make things difficult for him to shake his head. Soon, the boatman wife again, he said they agreed to his request out of 1200, immediately to withdraw money to pay other people on board. Wang smiled. Huo woman said to the boatman wife tell him to wait a minute, I asked about the yellow lang, let him go, said Wang Huo woman, my daughter's daily footer to serve you, now you know it. Wang asked, what if he does come to pass? Huo woman said please sign the instruments you'll go, do not go in myself. Wang go. Huo women forced urged him to go, Wang last resort, we had the boat to see the son of the wealthy. Businessman's son immediately silver good delivery point. Wang people and bind well sealed, well marked, the son of the businessman, said because I was so poor, so just to this point, suddenly break away from the bonds of friendship if the couple do not want my wife to go with you strongly. Silver is like the number of money back. Wang Shengang the money shipped back to their boat, the boatman wife Huo women have been followed from the stern son boarded a merchant ship, she watched Wang and say goodbye to him, and did not regret in nostalgia meaning. Wang was scared soul flying outside, sobbing speechless. Soon, merchant ship untied the rope and the boat sped away like an arrow. Wang burst into tears, I wanted to catch merchant ship. Boatmen disagree, set sail heading south. Zhengzhuang reached one moment, put baggage landed, the boatman put the boat pulled away. Wang guarding the luggage Menzio, I do not know where to go to that, looking at the surging river, like oath is painful. Wang positive breakout crying suddenly someone sweetly calling Wang Lang. Wang looked around in astonishment, see Huo women already on the road in front of the. Wang was very happy, carrying luggage to catch up with her and asked, how do you come so long detained? Huo woman smiled and said, Zaichi a while, you will be suspicious of the Wang Xinghui female suspect. Huo not an ordinary person, repeatedly asked her bottom line. Huo woman smiled and said I mean his life for his broken home who called on the people to the idea of evil lie to him if you intend to tell the truth, you would not necessarily do, where can I get 1200 money bags full of money now, lost people back, you should feel satisfied, but also ask what the poor, so hire luggage back, we walked together to the Huo family. Door to the water, there is a hazy south, Wang Huo woman took straight into it, while men and women came out to meet, said. Wang Lang came, Wang met the father-in-law go, two teenagers, to Wang Zui greeting, sat down to talk, this is the woman Huo brothers, Darrow and Sorrow, there is not much welcome in their feast dishes, only we put 4 large jade plate, square table was filled, geese chicken crab fish are cut and to fight for the whole of. Darrow, Saburo with drinking bowl, uninhibited conversation. After dinner bring them into another courtyard, let them live with the couple. Velvety bed quilt pillows, bed is made instead of cane brown leather. Daily made Pew food delivered meals. Huo women sometimes all day long within doors. Wang lived in separate small courtyard and some depressed. Repeatedly said she wanted to go home. Huo women are always advised him not go. One day, Wang Huo said to the woman, now for your sake, want to buy you a woman. There is a good son, but the family line to buy biggie price is too high. You pretend to be my brother, my father came forward to you propose marriage. Find a good home daughter is not difficult. Wang did not agree to do so. Huo women do not obey. One Zhuangguangxi, his daughter has just died husband, a good discussion out of 120 recruits silver. Wang Huo woman forced to marry her. U.S. small Mingjiao new wife, looks good. Huo woman shouting her sister, Wang embarrassed, but Huo female is very calm. One day, Wang Huo said to the woman I will and sister went to the South China Sea to visit his aunt. More than a month can go back, you and your wife feel at ease here lived it, having left. Wang and Amy was living alone in a small hospital. The maids brought food on time, and very rich, but since May the door, I did not see a person come to their house. Every morning, Amy went to greet her mother, said a word or two on the back out, next to their wives, when they meet just laughing. Even in May there be some long time, is not how a gesture of affection. When Wang see the father, it is also the case. Occasional woman Huo brothers were talking together. Long ago, I do not speak. Wang was wondering, but I do not know who to tell. After Amy found, he asked since you and they are brethren, why this month is like a stranger, like, no rush to verbal exchanges between Wang, had stammered I lived outside a decade today has just returned. Amy asked the case to thin elderly family background, and the wives of his hometown, etc. Wang answer, very embarrassed, it seems cannot hide it, put the Amy told the truth. Amy wept and said, my family have been poor, but do not give Jianqi, no wonder so wives who despise me. Wang fearful, I do not know how to do, had knelt down and let Amy pleasure. Amy stopped crying to Wang pulled up and asked him what other intention. Wang said I dare to have any plans, there is only one way, you go back to the home of a person. Amy said now that married to you, then leave you, to love heartless though she should talk to you, is run away. Although I was later, but it is not as good as Sung for the time being so she came back and asked her out since this idea, plan how arranged for me are. Then, after several months, Huo women still did not come back. One night, I heard guest rooms have a drink and laughter. Wang secretly see two people sitting in the seat of honor dressed in military uniform, a man wrapped in a leopard skin, majestic, like a god, one east of tiger fur to make helmet use, the amount of titles in the jaws of death, the tiger nose and ears are. Wang was surprised to read the back of the house, these tell Amy. Khodorkovsky and his son in the end is actually not guess what people, husband and wife both skeptical and afraid to discuss rent a house to move somewhere else to live, but was worried about the whole family life suspicion. Wang Sheng said may I tell you, people even go to the South China Sea back, these facts have been given, I cannot be settled here now want to take you along, but am afraid your father have different views not as a temporary goodbye, he'll come back in 2 years you can wait till wait, if you want to Lingji others, also up to you. Amy wanted to tell their parents and go with Wang, Wang did not agree. Amy tears, vowed next to Wang Shengli, bid farewell to Wang went back to her parents. Wang Huo went to bid farewell to the female parent, then Huo brothers have gone out, Wang Huo parent retain wait for them to come back before you go, do not listen to Wang, the road immediately, after Wang on board, and I feel very sad, driven to distraction like, to Guazhou, he turned suddenly saw a boat approaching fast, the boat drew near, the boat was actually sitting Anjian Huo Tailang Daro far Wang said you want to go home, why do not we talk it to you lady here, let 2 or 3 years and so on, who can wait then, near the ship heads, from Amy's ship out, Darrow helped her yellow house on the boat, and then jumped back to his own boat to go back up. Originally, Amy returned to her family, parents are crying, suddenly Huo Lang traveling with came home, forcing Amy with the sword on the train, catch on to the car drove away. Amy too scared to breathe, no one dare to ask, dare to intercept. Amy finished these situations, Wong I do not know how, but very happy to get Amy, they sail home. After I get home, Wong took out money in business, life is quite rich. Amy often missed their parents. Wong wanted to see them, but was worried about women with Huo, the dispute on the wife's birthright. Soon, Amy's father, Zhong Wang got, see Wong family house is clean and tidy, quite pleased, to Amy said you go out. I went to inquire Huo, see the door is locked, homeowners do not know where to go. Actually half a year of little news, your mother cried day and night, that you all the bad guys cheated, I do not know where to living. Fortunately, everything is fine now, right? Wong Wenjong told the truth, we all I guess Huo family man of God. Emma Yisheng later a son, named Sin has done. Sin thanks to our teenage years, Amy let him go to Zhenjiang, Yangzhou boundary came to live in a hotel, his men are out right now. Then there is a woman came in, took his hand into another room, put down a curtain, took him in her lap, smiled and asked his name, told her gift sense. The woman said, what does it mean to take the name fairy gift? Said I do not know, and she said, go back and ask your father will know that Sin give back combed hair from his head flower fairy gift to wear off. Took out gold bracelets worn on the wrist thanks sense and took gold on the sleeve of his immortal thanks, saying here books to read. Sin gift asked who she was, the woman said you do not a mother know it, go back and tell your father, Zhu Daxing died without coffin, should help him, do not forget old servant back to the hotel, see the owner is not small, went to another room to look, listen he and the voices of others, secretly saw that it was the previous owner's wife. Servant lie in way gently coiffed, want to go say a few words, then the women Huo's Yan gave push to bed, it's gone between trance. I asked the hotel owner, they know nothing. A few days later, thanks sense from Zhenjiang returned, and told the Wang and Huo woman come up with something of a gift. Wang Sai, Wang Zhu Daxing to inquire about the news. Zhu Daxing died just 3 days, the corpse has not been exposed to the burial. Burial Wang him. Different she said this is a fairy woman is it? For the 3 men, cannot be regarded chastity, but for those who make him a miser or even bankruptcy, for those how says let him swing production, this woman is not a no scheming people, but now that hurts their wallet swing production will not have to pity them, those bones tan I'm miser, and thrown into the ravine what does it do?